Dear students, welcome all of you to Mentors Law Entrance Coaching Center. Actually, today we are going to discuss something about our basic English. In English, we have not only English, but some other topics are there. Reasoning connected with the law, and general reasoning, and numerical ability, and a lot of topics are there. I only discuss about English. Let us discuss which are the major topics that we have to understand while we are going to write the law entrance exam. Nowadays, the significance of English is very important, very decisive, very vital. If a student, he or she doesn't speak English or doesn't aware of English vocabulary, their condition should be very miserable. You think about the SSC exam, 30 score is essential for that. IBPS exam, 30 score for English is required. Likewise, in law entrance, a student should have aware of this kind of English vocabulary, English grammar, English pronunciation, everything is very essential. Now we have to discuss only comprehension. What do you mean by comprehension? What is the word meaning comprehend? Comprehension, the comprehension is a noun. How can we identify a noun? A word which ends in S-I-O-N, shun, T-I-O-N, shun, T-I-O-N, S-I-O-N, we are pronouncing as shun, attention, preparation, pronunciation, all are nouns. Society, the word ends in Y, society, possibility, that is also noun. So the word ends in meant, management, attachment, engagement, arrangement. So the words which are ending in meant, shen, S-I-O-N, shen, T-I-O-N, shen, and Y, all are nouns. So we can easily identify the difference between a verb and a noun. Likewise, comprehend is a verb. Comprehension is a noun. Declare is a verb. Declaration is a noun. So any student who wishes to learn English basically aware of these two things. What is a noun and what is a verb. So this is only a simple thing. Some students think that it is a very difficult thing to grasp, difficult thing to understand. But we have an attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. That is the important thing. If a student has an attitude to become a lawyer or any other legal advisor or any other career in the field of law, definitely they can achieve it. They can crack it. The will is important. So attitude is most important aspect. So don't worry about how to learn English. I actually studied in Malayalam medium, but I can handle English without any difficulty. So interest is everything, attitude is everything. So now we are coming back to our topic. Comprehend means understand. Comprehension means after understanding something, how to write the answers of the questions which follow the given paragraph. That is the topic. First of all, in your college days and in your school days, you have written a lot of essays. What is the pattern of an essay? The very word essay. Essay is a French word. Franco is mondaine. Mondash spelling. Mondash, that is the pronunciation, mondash, not mondaine. That is, we are writing in English. English is entirely different. Both the pronunciation and the written spelling is different. So spelling is this way, this is a French word. The pronunciation is mondash, not mondaine, mondash. So he was the first essayist. So while we are analyzing an essay should have an introduction. An essay should have an introduction. An essay should have an introduction. Introduction has a decisive role while we are writing essay. What we are going to write in an essay, the important points should be confined in the introduction. Suppose reading. What is the importance of reading? What are the merits of reading? Reading is a topic. So first of all, we are writing in the introductory paragraph the merits of 6 or 7 sentences in the introductory section. Then we are elaborating in the body paragraph. In the body paragraph, we are elaborating the main ideas in the introduction. In the body paragraph of the essay, we are elaborating the main ideas one by one that we had included in the introduction. And then there should be a conclusion. Conclusion. So, these are the three major aspects we have to notice whenever we are writing an essay. Why should I say so? Because while we are doing this comprehension, we should be aware of this thing, how to write an essay. Whenever, in which exam, some examination, essay should be important, even civil service also. Essay writing is a major role in that examinations, UPSC examinations. So, introduction should be there. The main ideas, central ideas we are confining in the introduction. After that, one by one, we are selecting each sentence and develop it to 6 or 8 paragraph. 6 or 8 paragraph. That is the body paragraphs. And then the conclusion. And then we should also aware of what is a paragraph. I already told you what is the importance of essay. How we can write an essay. What should be an essay. Next my topic is what is a paragraph. A paragraph, the first sentence is the title sentence. Whenever you write a paragraph, then the first sentence is the title sentence. The first sentence is the title sentence. That is the main sentence. Suppose I am telling an example. But studies. Why do we study? Studies are for delight. We are studying something, reading something for getting a pleasure, for enjoyment, for passing our time. Some people, those who are actually retired persons, they spend their time while reading some books. That will provide pleasure. Some others are using it as ornament. The prominent person in Kerala, Shashi Tharoor, one of the MPs, a political person and former a great diplomat. Tharoor uses his studies, his knowledge for ornament, like a girl who wears this earring and her necklace, everything. Why? For attraction, decoration. Likewise, some people are using their knowledge as an ornament. And the third one, ability. You think about the great scientists like Albert Einstein or Max Planck, who introduced quantum theory. They used their knowledge for practical purpose. So, reading has a different purpose. Studies have different roles. Some people are using it for deriving pleasure. Some others for using it as an ornament, for shining, to exhibit their knowledge. And some others are using for practical purpose. Thomas Alva Edison or Madame Curie or Pierre Curie, they used their knowledge for in the practical purposes. So that is important. So first sentence I am writing, studies are for delight, for ornament and for ability. Then I explain it. That is the way we are writing a paragraph. Whenever you think about to write a paragraph, you should be aware the first sentence is the kernel sentence, the gist of the paragraph. So, you also looking the comprehension passage, the first sentence of a paragraph is very important. That is why I told this. Okay? So, in a paragraph, which are the major components in a paragraph? Which are the major components in a paragraph? A paragraph should have the title sentence. One is this, title sentence. That is the introductory sentence. The title sentence is the first sentence. The introductory sentence. And then it's elaboration. Elaboration of the title sentence. And then the conclusion. Conclusion. These are the three aspects. These are the three aspects that a person should know whenever they write a paragraph. The title sentence and the elaboration and the conclusion. My next point is how to read. Suppose we have enough newspapers. The Hindu is there, the most monumental newspaper, old newspaper, meritorious newspaper, the Hindu. And then we have another newspapers like the New Indian Express, the Times of India, the Chronicle, that so many newspapers and periodicals are there. How to read something. And now you have to read reading comprehension. RC, reading comprehension. Actually, they expect your reading skill. They analyze the comprehension passages. The examiners are expecting your reading skill. How to read a passage, how to read a topic. Some people are reading. Some people, we couldn't get sufficient time to read the topic. How did we read? We skip something. We skip something. Skipping is there. Skip. Because we couldn't get enough time, lack of time, we are skipping something. A long article is there, but we have to go somewhere else very urgently. So we couldn't get sufficient time, so we are actually only skipping what is the main contents. That is the one method of reading. Skipping is there. Some others are skimming is there. Skim. What do you mean by skim? Suppose we have to read a big book for examination, for preparing some topics. We have to face long books, but we couldn't get sufficient time for preparation. Then we are skimming it. And overall reading is there. And or outward, that is the outside performance. That is, we didn't go deep in it. We are only getting, that is what is the gist of the book, the summary of the book. That kind of reading is called skimming. The real reading for comprehension, not skipping, not skimming, but we require scanning. So 3 types of readings are there: skipping, skimming, and scanning. Scan it. So the minutest particle, the nook and corner. Nook and corner means the part and parcel of the topic. The part and parcel means the entire part should be aware. Then only we can write the answers. So reading has a decisive role while doing the comprehension passages. So 3 types of reading are there. Which are the 3 types of reading? One is skipping. Skipping means just only general evaluation of the topic. Skimming is we require the topic, but we couldn't have sufficient time for the reading the entire topic, or only general evaluation. But while we are doing the comprehension for exam, scanning is very important. Each and every part of the topic is, content is very, very, very important. Do you understand? Am I right? Scanning is very essential. We are actually going to hospital for understanding, for doing the scanning. Nowadays, we are living in the time of artificial intelligence. The present world is that. So, this kind of autopsy and that is the growth of the fetus, AI has a decisive role. The doctor's duty has been reduced nowadays because of the invention of artificial intelligence. Now we are not discussing that. Our topic is entirely different. So skipping is there, skimming is there, scanning is there. And now, which are the various aspects that we should aware whenever we are doing or we are going to do, we face a comprehension passage. First one, vocabulary should be there. Vocabulary should be there. Vocabulary. What do you mean by vocabulary? Vocabulary means collection of words. Suppose I discuss something in English. I am a native of Kerala, I am Malayali, but my discussion is in English. So English vocabulary should be there. Then only I can discuss in English. So while you are reading or understanding or writing something in English, you also maintain, you also should aware of English vocabulary, English words. You familiar with English words, familiar with English words. How we can familiar with English words? How we can familiar with English words? Our relatives or our intimate friends are not discussing in English. Then how we can? We have not a chance of acquisition. Acquisition means genuinely acquiring the language. That kind of opportunity is not here. Because every state has its own regional, provincial language. So a student couldn't get an atmosphere to develop language like a person, native person who was born in Australia or in England. So what is our speciality? We have to not acquire but learning. English is a learned language, second language acquisition. Second language acquisition. So a good vocabulary should be maintained to speak in English, to write in English. And the four skills are there. Listening. A good listener be a good learner. A good listener. Suppose now I am discussing the topic. If you are listening the topic, you can understand something. If your concentration is not confining my words, you couldn't follow that. A good listener be a good learner. That is one of the, listening is a skill. The other is speaking. The second skill is speaking. As a lawyer, you should have maintained good speaking skill. Suppose you have to go through the court, that is in Supreme Court or High Court, in any other court. How to communicate, how to transact your ideas. You can transact only in English there. Then you shouldn't have a good language skill. Your professional area ends in utter failure. That is the main problem. So you have to develop, you have to maintain a good language skill. That is the way I am now discussing. One is reading newspaper. Reading newspaper is one of the means to develop our language. We get a lot of words in everyday newspaper, a lot of vocabulary, new words, novel words. Novel means new words. Not only that, not only getting words alone, but you have to require current affair, that is general knowledge. So in each day, the newspaper, you can notice, you can find out a lot of current affair, that is general knowledge. You write it down in a notebook or anywhere. Then you should be well versed in that topic, the current affair. Who are the present CBI chief or the any other UGC chairman or other ministers are there. All these developments you could get from the newspaper. Especially my point of view is one of the best newspapers in India without error, that is the Hindu. Some other newspapers have a little bit grammatical, structural mistake, etc. But Hindu is basically a good newspaper. The grammar, the structure, the syntax, everything is correct. That is I prefer Hindu newspaper. More than the editorial has an important role. While you are reading a newspaper, the editorial has an important role. Editorial page. Editorial. Actually, what is the point of view of the editorial board or the newspaper about some issue should be revealed through, disclosed through the editorial. So editorial is a best way to develop your language and your academic career and your knowledge. So whenever you get a newspaper, you go through the editorial page. What is the recent issue and what is the opinion of the editorial board and what is the opinion of the newspaper? So one is that to develop a language, to develop vocabulary, read newspaper or any other magazines. That is one of the aspects. The second one is read any other English books. You should be familiar with English language. You should be familiar with English vocabulary. You have to read English books. A little bit of time, at least 6 or 7 months, you have to spend for learning English. for getting or familiar English. Acquaintance. Acquaintance means to familiar with that topic. That is called acquaintance. So spend at least a few months to develop your vocabulary. That is the other version. Third one, if you have good friends, those who are aware of English language, to communicate in English, they have the skill to communicate in a foreign language, you mingle with them. That is the best way to, those who are spending outside our state, they develop a good language. How? Because they got good opportunity for mingle with the people, those who belong to other states. That is a good chance. Those who go abroad and those who are spending their time in other states, the Hindi, those who are talking in Hindi, they should be getting a good opportunity for communicating in other language. And generally they have to cultivate a habit of speaking a common language, that is a second language like English. Nowadays, that is the influence of ICT, information and computer technology. English has a decisive role. You have to use this social media and other technology. You should be well versed in English. Otherwise, you have to suffer a lot. That is the major thing. If you have to write a good comprehension passage and understand the topics in the comprehension passage, a good vocabulary should be there. One is vocabulary. Second, another one. One is vocabulary, that is the main thing. Second one is the structure of the language. Structure of the language. Suppose, while we are discussing about Malayalam or Kannada or Telugu, we know that subject plus object plus verb. Yes plus O plus V. Yes plus O plus V. Subject plus object plus verb. More naturally. That is in Hindi. More means a peacock dances well. That is the English version. In Malayalam we are telling Mayil Nirtham Adunu. Mayil Nirtham. That is the first thing is subject. Next is object. And the particular verb is in the end. That is the regional languages. In regional languages, subject plus object plus verb. But in English, an entirely different pattern. Subject plus verb plus object. That is the basic difference. Regional language we are using subject, object, verb. But in a foreign language, especially English, we are using subject plus verb plus object. So this kind of structural aspect is very essential for speaking English. One is that is called structure. Firstly, I told you vocabulary, the general words, that is, lexical words. Lexical words should be there. After removing this, I will discuss lexical words. What do you mean by lexical words? Lexical words means action words. Lexical words means action words. Action. A-C-T-I-O-N. Action words. That is called lexical words. A person who writes about a dictionary is called what? A person who writes a dictionary is called a lexicographer. One who writes a dictionary is called a lexicographer. Lexicographer. And the art of writing dictionary is called lexicography. Lexicography. So, if you speak in English, if you write something in English, everybody who wishes to write something in English, that is their urge, their desire to do something. So, you should be aware of at least 400 lexical verbs. 400, at least. Then only you can speak or write in English. So, what is lexicography? The art of writing dictionary is called lexicography. One who writes a dictionary is called lexicographer. So, that kind of action words are known as lexical words. So, you should be aware of the syntax. Syntax means the correct construction of a sentence. How to write a sentence, the right construction. The right construction of a sentence is called syntax. The right construction of a sentence is called what? That is called syntax. Do you understand? Can you follow? But while we are doing comprehension, the candidate should be aware of the correct construction of the language. Vocabulary is very important, the first thing. Then only we can find out the synonyms. Synonyms. Synonyms means similar words. Synonyms. Synonyms. That is called similar meaning. Words which have the recollection. A recollection, reminder, remind, remember. Recollection, remember. Similarity is there. So synonyms means instead we are using another word instead of a word. That is called synonym. And the next one is antonym. A-N-T-O-N-Y-M. Antonym. Extremely opposite. Good, bad. Strong, weak. Short, high. That is the difference. That is the entirely opposite thing. The black and white. So that is called antonyms. That is very essential. And the next one word substitution. One word substitution. One word substitution. What do you mean by one word substitution? Suppose you think about the great businessman Yusuf Ali. He is rendering valuable contribution to a lot of poor people. That is why we call him a philanthropist. What? Philanthropist. A human lover is called philanthropist. 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 A person who loves the entire human being. A humanist. He is called philanthropist. Humanist. Another word I had used, philanthropist. Philanthropy. Anthropy. Anthropology, study of the human being. Anthropology is a non-word, the study of the human being. Likewise, psychology, the study of the psycho, mind. Biology, everything has its own derivatives. Cynic or pessimist, one who doesn't get any satisfaction, anything is called a pessimist. Some students are generally telling, I couldn't get a good score, I couldn't pass the exam. That is called pessimism. Whatever you do, you should be optimist. That is the best thing a student must develop in his or her career. Optimism should be there. A lot of people are becoming lawyers and thinkers. Why can't I? I can win. I can win. Nothing is an obstacle in our way. Anybody who wishes an overvaulting ambition can succeed. Nobody can prevent them. Nothing is a taboo. Taboo means obstacle, impediment. So confidence must be there. Confidence. You should be beware. My confidence is my strength. My confidence is my strength. That is why I wish to write the CLAT exam. That must be you. That should be your decision. Confidence development program. So, one word substitution. A lot of words are there. Optimism is a one word. Pessimism is an one word. Sadism. One who derives happiness in others' sorrows is called a sadist. Veteran, an experienced person. Suppose you think about our Karunakaran, the former Congress leader, or EMS, or Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the BJP leader. These people are highly experienced people. They were known as veteran, V-E-T-R-A-N, veteran, veteran, V-E-T-E-R-A-N, veteran. One word is there. So in vocabulary, which are the various things we should be familiar with? Synonym. Synonym means similar meaning. Antonym. What is the word meaning antonym? Opposite of everything. One word substitution. But theism. Theism means a person who believes in religion. Theism. Atheism. a non-believer of God. Atheism. Monotheism, a person who believes in one God alone, Christian community or the Islam. They have faith in one religion, one God alone. The Hinduism, multi gods are there. Monotheism, monogamy. A person who marries only one lady is called monogamy. Polygamy. Some people, they have affection or the relation with other ladies, they are called monogamy or polygamy. Monogamy opposite polygamy. Poly. Monotheism. Monomania. Mania. What is the word meaning mania? Mania means love for something. Mania. Monomania, love for a single person. Megalomania, love for a lot of people is called megalomania. Opposite of mania is called phobia. Mania, phobia. Hydrophobia, a person, that is a person who affects rabies. Somebody had affected rabies, a dog bite. They have totally fear whenever they see water. That is called hydrophobia. Did you understand? Fear for water. This one word is called hydrophobia. Different phobias are there. And mania is a news mania. The politicians, some politicians are highly news maniac. Mania for news. So mania is there, phobia is there, that is the way we have to develop words. The best way to how to develop words. That all these belong to vocabulary. All these belong to vocabulary. Now I change this. After that I will discuss the other topic regarding the sentence. The first one is called vocabulary. Vocabulary, which are the various aspects that you have to require in vocabulary, is called familiar words. At least you have to study 400 words. Then synonyms, antonyms, one word substitutions. One more is, that is phrasal verb. Phrasal verb. What do you mean by phrasal verb? Phrasal verb means a verb with a preposition. A verb plus preposition is called phrasal verb. A verb plus preposition is called phrasal verb. Suppose call on. The chief minister called on the governor. What do you mean by that? Do you understand? The chief minister called on the president means, what do you understand? The chief minister visited the president. The chief minister called at Kodaikanal. Or the governor called at Kodaikanal. Or, what do you mean by called at? Call on, visit. Call at. Call on means visits someone. Visit someone. Call on. Call at means visit some place. Call at. These are the main topics we have to understand to approach vocabulary: synonyms, antonyms, one word substitutions, phrasal verb, etc. And then structure. Structure means the main grammar topic. Main grammar topic, you have remember that one is tense should be there. Tense, T-N-C, tense. 12 tenses in English. 12 tenses, the application of tenses. That is a base aspect of English. Tense is there. And then subject-verb agreement. Agreement between subject and verb. Subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement is called concord. Subject-verb agreement is called concord. C-O-N-C-O-R-D. Concord. Agreement, a singular subject is followed by a singular verb. Chitra sings very well. Chitra and Sujata sing very well. She goes to market. She and her father go to market. That is subject-verb agreement. They speak English. He speaks English. He drinks water. He and his brother drink water. That is agreement between subject and verb. If the subject is singular, you add S or ES to the verb. Yeshudas sings very well. Mammootty acts in Unda. Mammootty acts. Mammootty and Mohanlal act. That is the basic subject verb. A student who studies or learns English very basically should be aware of this subject and verb. The subject verb agreement has an important role to speak or write English. That we actually use in this classroom process also. And tense is there, subject verb agreement is there, and then voice. Two voices, active voice and passive voice. He writes a letter, active voice, subject is important. A letter, object. He writes a letter, we can see three parts. He subject, writes verb, a letter, object. But when we shift it into passive, letter should be come first. A letter is written by him. He writes a letter is written by him. He is writing a letter. Subject is coming in the first. A letter, he is writing a letter is being written by him. That is the passivation. He has written a letter has been written by him. Only these present tense, these three forms have the passive voice. The last one, present perfect continuous, he has been writing a letter, now passive. Such a way, you at least learn the active and passive. That is very, passivization is very important. So, first tense should be there. 12 tenses are there. Then only we can understand that is the time. Tense denotes time. Tense represents time. Action happens in which time? Present or yesterday or tomorrow. Tomorrow is the future. Yesterday is the past. Today is the present. Today, present. Yesterday, past. Tomorrow, future. And then voice. And one more, that is direct and indirect speech. Direct and indirect speech. Speech is there. These are the major things. More than that, here the auxiliaries. Two types of auxiliaries are there. You know, that is the principal auxiliaries, am, is, are. The primary auxiliaries, am, is, are. Was, were. Am, is, are present tense. Was, were past tense ആയിരുന്നു. Has, have present. ഉണ്ട്. Had ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. That is the Malayalam version. Am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did. Do, does present form. Did past form. These are the principal auxiliaries, the primary auxiliaries. Am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did. The next is modal auxiliaries. Will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, had to, ought to, dare. These are modal auxiliaries. So, each student should be aware of this, the application, the usage of modal auxiliaries and the primary auxiliaries. They have an independent stand. The primary auxiliaries have, and she is a student. They are teachers, but the modal auxiliaries have no independent stand. They are accompanied with a main verb. I will write a letter, or he shall sing very well. Instead, with the definite activities, we are using will with I. I will means definitely, some percentage should be occurred. In the same way, he or she, normally we are using will. But if it is exact incident, shall can be used. He will drink he will milk, or they will play cricket. So that is the general assumption, general viewpoint. But certain occasion, definite exactness is there, preciseness is there, accuracy is there. We can use shall along with the third person. Third person means he, she, it, they. First person I, we. Second person you. Third person he, she, it, they. All these include in the tense usage, application of tenses. So, tense should be there, subject verb agreement should be there, voice is there, speech is there, then three types of sentences. Simple, simple, complex, simple, complex and compound. Simple, complex and compound. These are the three types of sentences: simple, complex, compound. She speaks English. They watch TV. Smoking is injurious to health. A sentence which has only one subject, verb and object is called a simple sentence. Lal acts in a movie. That is simple sentence. Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. That is a simple sentence. Nirmala Sitharaman, the Finance Minister of India, she belongs to Tamil Nadu. That is simple sentence. Nirmala Sitharaman is the Finance Minister, simple sentence. She belongs to Tamil Nadu, next simple sentence. But if you study well, you will get a good score. If you attend the class regularly, you can crack the examination. That is called if clause condition. A main class and a subordinate. If you study well, condition. No sooner did I reach the railway station, than the train left. No sooner than. The application. As soon as I reached the bus stand, the bus had left. As soon as, no sooner than. And the sentence, she said that she couldn't attend the program. The sentence, we can use connecting with that. All these belong to complex sentence. Complex means a main clause is there and a subordinate clause is there. Main part of the sentence, one is independent part, the other is dependent part. That kind of sentence is called complex sentence. The next one is compound sentence. Compound sentence means, example, fan boys. F means for. I couldn't attend the class or I couldn't attend the program. For, I went to hospital. I was admitted in hospital for a reason, connective. But, and next one is and. Tagore was a poet and a dramatist. Nehru was a politician and a diplomat. Shashi Tharoor was a politician and a diplomat. We are combining two sentences with and. Two independent sentences are combining with and, but, not only but also, or, either or, neither nor. All these sentences are compound sentences, two independent sentences. The first one, only one single sentence. Second one, complex, a main clause and a subordinate clause, independent and dependent. And the third one, two independent sentences are combined with for, and, nor. Neither he nor his brother attends the wedding. Neither he nor his brother attends the wedding. That is called next connection, nor. Then, but, contrasting. I will reach there, but I couldn't get enough time to stay there. I will attend the program, but I couldn't stay a long duration. But, contrasting. And or, and next yet, and so. These are connectives. These are called compound sentence. So how many types of sentences? Simple sentence, complex sentence, compound sentence. Do you understand? So that is called this usage of conjunctions. Conjunctions. For using a language, for handling a language, at least these topics should be learned. Then only you can handle a language. So language learning, you think that it is a very Herculean task. Actually, it doesn't have such a seriousness, such a such a kind of difficulty that you have to face while you are doing it. If you have an interest, you can easily grasp it. You think that APJ Abdul Kalam, the first scientist president of India, the president who became in that position the first scientist. He was born and brought up in a humble, simple family in Rameswaram. Earlier time he spending his time for giving newspaper boy. His family was very poverty stricken, penury stricken. But he has an earnest desire. I wish to fly, I can fly. He thinks how to fly. You read his prominent autobiography. That is in his Wings of Fire. He writes about his tragic career, how he became such a great person. He had a deep-rooted ambition. And he actually told us the importance of dreams. Dreams changed into thoughts, thoughts into action. First of all, we develop our dream building. Dreams changed into thoughts. That dreams affect our thoughts. And the thoughts into actions. Such a person was he. He went to Nagpur for attending the pilot's interview. After his studying in the MIT, Madras Institute of Technology, MIT. Now it is IIT, that is then the name is called Madras Institute of Technology, MIT. He had gone for an interview to become a pilot. His number was 9. But they have required only 8 people. At his turn, the particular person who allows him to enter the interview board, that fellow told him, we have already selected the entire 8 people. We don't need the remaining students. So he had to return without getting a job. His earnest ambition was to become a pilot. And he was totally dejected. On his way, a saint, I don't know which community he belongs, in the train, he advised him, you don't worry about it. If you had lost one opportunity, you definitely get another opportunity. On that time, Indira Gandhi had opened a new opportunity in the defense. A defense research wing had started for the army. Defense research wing. And he applied for that. And he had gone to Delhi. And he had selected for that particular defense research wing. And later he appointed the chairman of ISRO. And he had spent more than 10 years in Kerala. And he became the scientific advisor of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And he developed the missiles. Even though he couldn't fly, he had developed the objects, the missiles like Agni, Prithvi, Trishul, BrahMos, etc. So that is why we are calling him as the missile man of India. He had rendered a valuable contribution for our country. Not only for his life alone. He doesn't marry. He had to spend his time for the country. And he became the first scientist president. If you have a vaulting ambition, if you have an earnest desire, definitely, like our Kalam, you can achieve that career. That you remember in your life. So his book is very important, a good motivating book. That is called Wings of Fire. And you also go through The Alchemist. Alchemist is also a motivating good book. Paulo Coelho. So these are the very best books for a student who doesn't think about the development. Negative attitude is there. You can dip into this book for getting a positive outlook and optimism. Okay? Am I right? And then these are the sentence pattern. Earlier I told you vocabulary. Now the structure of English, which are the various grammar topic you have to learn for developing your language and your communication skill, that is your interaction. Okay? Now let us come back to our most important topic in your examination, that is none other than comprehension. Okay? Yes. Reading comprehension, at least 5 or 4 questions, at least 4 or 5 questions for comprehension in your examination. English. The main pattern is that. How to write a comprehension? 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 SIO, comprehension. How to write a comprehension? That is the question. Not our traditional way. Traditionally, what we are doing? We are reading the entire passage, the entire topic, and then we are going to the questions. Do you think that is it a good thing? Actually, it is a very tragic thing, because you have only limited time. You must be beware of the limitation of time. Time management is very important while you are doing this comprehension. Time management. Time management is very decisive, very vital. Decisive means important, means vital. You must be beware of each and every moment. So, every moment is very precious. So, first of all, in our method, initially you don't go through the passage. You don't read the passage very initially. Our method is that. Generally, in school classes, the students go through the passage very firstly. After that, they read the question. Then they come back to the passage again to find out the answer. Firstly, they read the passage, then they go through the question, return to the passage and find out the answer. That is not a good method of writing comprehension. Our teaching method is entirely different to compare with your traditional method. Okay? That is the speciality of our coaching. What is our modern method of writing comprehension? Firstly, you go through the questions. Go through the questions. Go through the questions. Some general questions are there. Some general questions are there. You can find out the answer of that questions, not read the passage. You check the options below. Every question has 4 or 5 options. Then you read the options, you can easily find out this should be the answer. Then there is no need to return the passage. Some questions are very direct questions. Some questions are very general questions. Another way of questions are there. It is subject-oriented questions. Second one is, first thing you go through the questions. Some questions are very simple. Fact-oriented questions. General questions are there. Generalized questions. Some questions are a little bit difficult. You have to come back the passage. So, firstly you read the questions alone. You don't read the passage. You don't read the answers, options. Only read the questions. And get an idea, grasp an idea. Comprehension, the very word meaning itself is called grasp. Grasp. Understand. Grasp means understand. After understanding the entire questions, some questions are very direct. Some questions are very direct. Some questions are very direct, simple questions. You can find out the answer in your first reading. Some questions are indirect questions. Indirect. To find out the answers of the direct question, it is very easy. How to find out the indirect questions? Earlier I told you what should be a paragraph. In the very abrupt beginning of my class, I told you what should be a paragraph. A paragraph should have a first sentence, that is a title sentence. Title. That is very important. Some answers of the indirect questions are very clear in the beginning part of the paragraph. Sometimes the first question answer should be in the first paragraph, maybe first paragraph. That may locate in the title sentence or the beginning part of the paragraph, beginning part. Its elaboration is in the middle part. So firstly you go through the initial sentence of the paragraph. Otherwise, some years are there. Sometimes some years are there. Then what you have to do? You can easily find out the particular year on the passage. Particular year. There the answer should be there. Some years are connected with that. Some questions are very direct questions. Some questions are very indirect questions. Means some questions are very simple, some are very complicated. Firstly, you have to read not the passage, not the detailed extract, but you should read the questions. While you are reading the questions, you don't bother about the answers. Only questions alone. After getting a deep-rooted idea regarding the questions, you come back to the passage. If you are firstly reading the passage, what is the problem? A student who doesn't have familiar with the sentences should be utter complication. He thinks about the contents. Time should be wasted. He only thinks about the content. What is the subject matter? So time should be logged. Time should be wasted. On the other hand, you firstly read the questions. After understanding the entire questions, a good memory must be there. The real practice should be there. Practice alone. Practice. For writing the comprehension and securing a good score in English, practice is very essential. If a student or a job aspirant who doesn't wish to practice should be reaching problem, reaching failure. So practice alone is the best way to get full score in English. Practice alone. Practice. That is the best way. So, firstly you read the questions and then you come back to the passage. That is better. Otherwise, you go through the passage, some topics are very difficult for you to follow. You should be in deep contemplation. Contemplation means deep thought. Time should be lagged. You can't write the answer. Otherwise, firstly your approach, you are reading the questions. After understanding the questions properly, you come back to the passage. So time could be saved. Time saving device. And while you are reading, after reading the questions, you come back to the passage. While you are reading the passage, the difficult words, that must be noticed. Difficult words should be noticed. The difficult words should be noticed. Sometimes it may be the answer of some questions. Sometimes some words should be, you have to write the synonym of the word, or the similar meaning, or the opposite, antonym of the word. Or sometimes it may be an one-word substitution, some other words. So each and every word, minutest observation should be there. Minutest observation should be there. So you go through the sentence and you should get some information regarding it. So our formula is information. After reading the passage, you collect sufficient information, and elimination and inference. IEI. Inference means logical conclusion. But the problem is this: never you can use your own independent opinion or your own independent thoughts, your own difference of opinion in your answer. Whatever they have given in the passage, that alone can be selected as the answer. That is very, very important aspect. You shouldn't get independence while you are writing this topic. Okay? So, after reading the entire questions, you are returning to the paragraph and you go through the passage. Then you find out the answer. Underline the difficult words. Underline the difficult words or understand the difficult words. That you keep in mind. Sometimes it may be the answer of any one-word substitution or any synonym or any antonym. Anything. So the vocabulary is very important. Some examination, general questions are 6. 4 questions are 2 synonyms, 2 antonyms. Certain other examination, one-word substitution, 2 questions belong to that. Phrasal verb, 1 or 2 questions, and 1 synonym, 1 antonym. Then you have to write only 4 questions. General questions are 4 alone. General questions are 4 alone. 4 general questions. The remaining are vocabulary based question, synonym, 1 question, antonym, 1 question, one-word substitution, 1 question, one-word substitution, phrasal verb. These are the vocabulary based questions. Actually, while you are doing this question, there is no need to go back to the passage. If you have a good language command, vocabulary command, you can straightforward, you can write the answers. No need to read the passages. If a student has a good communication skill, if a student has a mastery over vocabulary or structure, can easily write these questions. These are simple questions, vocabulary based questions. That is why I told you, you should thoroughly aware of the vocabulary. That is the main reason. So the beginning class I had taken on the pattern of vocabulary. Did you understand the significance of vocabulary now? So vocabulary has a prominent role in writing this comprehension. Okay? And how to write the general questions. Some answers are straightforward, direct answers. While you are writing some answers are direct answers. Straightforward, they have written the answer. In a simple reading, plain reading, you can find out the answer. But some answers are a little bit complex, obscure. Obscure, O-B-S-C-U-R-E. What do you mean by obscure? Obscure means unclear. Unclear, obscure, unclear. Unclear means vague. Vague means not vivid. Not vivid. Not vivid. Some answers are very confused. So you have to read between the lines. Read between the line means the answers hidden in the sentences. The answers hidden in the sentences. Then you use the inference. then you use your inference. Inference means your logical reasoning skill. Logical reasoning skill, that is called inference. So, some answers you can easily find out. Some answers are hidden. Some answers you can reach with your inference, logical conclusion. So, 3 types of questions are there. Some are very simple questions. Some answers hidden between the lines. Some answers, after reading the sentences, you have to reach the answer. That is logical conclusion. That is the pattern you have to follow while you are writing comprehension. So, the comprehension alone is in your examination. In the previous year's question paper, you can see that 5 or 6 comprehension passages have given in the exam. They are checking your reading skill. How much you can grasp the ideas. Comprehend means grasp the ideas, understand the ideas. So systematic reading is very essential. Regular reading is very essential. You should have acquaintance with the language. It is a foreign language. It is not your native language. While we are learning a foreign language, you have some difficulties. While we are understanding a foreign language, communicating a foreign language, we have some difficulties are there. But we have to overcome that difficulty. How? By systematical practice, systematic training, systematic reading. So RC or reading comprehension, your language is actually the vehicle of your thought. Language is a means to communicate. Through language, your ideas are expressing. So, in a comprehension passage, you can understand different types of ideas. Sometimes it may be, which are the various topics. Sometimes it may be connected with the environment. Sometimes it may be connected with the physics. Sometimes it may be connected with the history or politics or economics, or it may be connected with the law, legal jurisprudence. Whatever may be, all this should be the subject matter. So wide reading, vast reading is very essential. You should be a voracious reader of English language, English books, English material. Then you should be familiar with the context. So, while we are approaching comprehension, a systematic method should be followed. That is a system. So, systematic methodology should be followed. Earlier I told you 3 methods of reading. Which are the 3 methods of reading? Skipping, skimming and scanning. Okay? Sometimes the passage may be a longer one. You shouldn't get too much of time to read the entire topic. So what type of reading is essential for that situation? You have to skim some topic. Some unrelevant topic, you have to skim it. Firstly, you are reading the questions and you actually collect what is the content, subject matter, what is the main idea from the question itself. What is the topic they are going to discuss in the passage, you should definitely get it from the questions itself. After understanding the questions, you come back to the passage. That I told you earlier. You have an awareness regarding the contents. What is the difference between content and contents? Content and contents. Content and contents, C-O-N-T-E-N-T-S, contents. Content means, actually, do you content my class? Do you content my class? What is the answer? Yes or no? Content means satisfy. Content. Opposite discontent. Contents means ingredients. Contents means ingredients. Ingredients, the contents in it, container. So contents, that is the best way to use. The contents of the passage, not the content. Content opposite discontent. Satisfied, dissatisfied. Contents means the entire materials included in the passage. Okay? So, 3 types of reading method should be employed here. Which are they? One is, the earlier I told you, earlier time itself I told you, skip something. Because lack of time, we couldn't read the entire portion. So skipping something, some portion, irrelevant portion, some examples, elaborations. Some examples are there that we have to remove. There is no need to understand that topic. So skip something. And general reading is called skimming. General reading is called skimming. And the correct method, that is the most important topics, maybe the answer of the questions, that is called scanning. Scan. So these 3 things you should be aware of it. Skipping, skimming and scanning. Along with this, some question paper, certain question paper, we have seen some figure of speeches. Figure of speeches. What do you mean by figure of speech? What do you mean by figure of speech? Suppose you have heard about comparison. Fast as a deer. Fast as a deer. As beautiful as a peacock. So, we have seen the words like as smart as a bee, as beautiful as a flower. This as means like. This kind of comparison are called simile. This kind of comparison are called simile. Simile. S-I-M-I-L-I-E, simile. Simile means to compare with others. Shakespeare has asked in one poem, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Shall I compare you to a summer's day? Comparison. You are like a flower. That is comparison. You are like a flower. Compare with a flower. A bird compare with a glowworm. A bird is comparing with a glowworm. Skylark, one of the poems by P.B. Shelley. He compares the bird skylark with a glowworm, or like a lady hidden in a bower. So that kind of comparison is called simile. So did you understand what is a comparison? To compare with others. As fast as a cheetah. The speed of a cheetah is very important. Your movement is like a cheetah, means you are walking as fast or traveling or moving as fast as a cheetah. That is called comparison. That comparison is called simile. Simile. And the next one is, so you have to find out simile from the topic. How you can find out the simile? You can use these words like as is there or like is there, that is called simile. If you know the usage of as or like, you can understand that that context is simile, comparison. The next is called metaphor. The next is called metaphor. What do you mean by metaphor? METAPHOR, metaphor. You are like a river. You are like a river. You are like a river. That is, like is there, so it is a simile. It is a simile, means you are like a river. But I am telling that you are a river. There is no comparison. You are a river. Or you are an ocean. You are a river. This is not any accusation that we are stating that that particular thing is like a, not like a river, it is same as river itself. Actually, you are the river. Not like, not us, but you are the river. Here one poet, Robert Burns says, your love is like a, your love is like, your love is like a red rose. Your love is like a red rose. This is called simile. Like is there. But I am telling you are a rose. You are a rose. You are a rose. This is called metaphor. That is the basic difference. You are like a rose. You are like a flower. You are like a deer. All these are simile. So you only notice which words like or us. Whenever like or us, like or us, the particular word is us, come in a sentence, we are using these words, that is called simile. If there is not that kind of words, you are a rose, you are a flower, you are an ocean, then that is called metaphor. Did you understand the basic difference between metaphor and simile? Metaphor is not comparison. The accusing the same thing. It is the real thing. Simile means comparison. More than that, you have to notice one more thing. While you are writing a comprehension, first of all, you must beware of the tone of the author. What? The tone of the author. Can you understand what I discuss here? If you have any doubt, you can contact me. I will clarify your doubt. Anybody has any doubt, don't be bothered about the issue. You can contact us. We will clarify the doubts. So, what is the tone of the author? While you are reading a comprehension, you care about the tone of the author. Yes. What is the tone? Tone of the author. Tone of the author. If a scientist is speaking about artificial intelligence, the merits, it has merits and defects. Sometimes it may be adversely affect the employment of the people here. Everything is handled by the AI, machine learning. So some people may have lost their jobs. That is one of the disadvantages. But too much of advantages are there. Instead of an autopsy, we can use the artificial intelligence. Autopsy should be taken 2.5 hours in a hospital. While a doctor is doing on a dead body, he should have taken at least 2.5 hours. But with artificial intelligence, we can do it with half an hour. If a lady is carrying in the very initial time, the fetus, in the beginning time, when that fetus had grown up, when it began to grow, and whether it has any deformity. If it has any deformity in her uterus itself, that fetus can be aborted. That we can easily find out through, that is the merits in the health sector, the merits of AI. So that is a question. That is a question in your examination. If you are aware of this topic, you can easily write out the answer. So it is a kind of a direction. Some good directions are there. some new knowledge should be shared. The merits of artificial intelligence. I am now telling only one example. Some topics are very critical. The one tone is called a directive, direct something, direction. Direct. Your parents are directing you. Your friends are directing you. That is called a direction. Some are advising. Some advices are there. Some topics, the tone is advice is there. Some topics are connected with criticism. Criticism. So, different types of tones are there. Some topics have the sad tone, that is the pathetic fallacy that you know. So, while you are reading the passage, you can understand the tone of the other. Earlier I told you what is simile and what is metaphor. These are the figure of speech. And I already discussed you what is the basic difference between simile and metaphor. How can we identify it? Which words are showing simile? Which words are representing metaphor? So that clues are given. And now I told you about the tone of the other. Whether it is a progressive tone, encouraging one. Whether it is actually disadvantaging one. So we can direct something. Direction is there. The other is good advice is there. It is for our progress. We can use it for our progress. So that is the tone. Tone of the other. That also should be noticed. While you are reading the passage, you think about the difficult words or difficult phrases. What is the phrase? Phrases. Phrases means part of a sentence. Phrases means part of a sentence. Part of a sentence. It doesn't have a full meaning. Part of a sentence, it doesn't have a full meaning is called phrase. To the bus stand, that is not full sentence. I go to the bus stand, that is a full sentence. She is traveling by car, that is a full sentence. What is the meaning of by car? At the railway station. So that particular three words has not any particular meaning. At the railway station, to the bus stand, in the market, that is part of a sentence. That part of a sentence is called phrase. So what is phrase? Phrase has a meaning, but it doesn't have a full-fledged meaning. But a clause, what is a clause? What is a clause? You have now understood that what is a phrase. Phrase is a part of a sentence, but it doesn't have a full meaning. At the bus stand, at the garden, at the railway station, that has not fully meaning, full-fledged meaning. But I am going to the railway station. She is waiting for me at the bus stand. It has full meaning is there. So clause is there. Clause has part of a sentence, but it has a full meaning. Suja studies well. Suja studies well and attends the class regularly. Suja studies well and attends the class regularly. Suja studies well. That is a clause. Suja studies well. It has a meaning. No, it is not a phrase. Next one, she attends the class regularly. But a sentence has a full-fledged meaning. That is a clause. Part of a sentence is called phrase. The part of a sentence is called phrase. But a sentence, it has full-fledged meaning. She watches the movie and eats something. She watches the movie. She subject, watches verb and movie. She watches the movie and eats something. Two actions are there combined with and. So what is the basic difference between phrases and clause? Phrase is a part of a sentence, but it doesn't have a full-fledged meaning. But clause has a meaning is there. So classes can be divided into main class and subclass. So sometimes your answer may be a phrase. Sometimes your answer may be a phrase. Sometimes it may be a clause. Sometimes your answer may be a clause. Sometimes it may be a phrase. Phrase is there, clause is there. Whenever you are reading this comprehension, a good memory should be maintained. Good memory should be maintained. Suppose you have not possessed a good memory. While you are going to bed at night, you think what are the activities which you had conducted daytime. In the beginning itself, dawn onwards. Dawn means in the early morning onwards, which are the various activities that we have undergone. You recollect it. If you can properly recollect the various activities in your daytime, you can gradually develop a good memory. But you can't remember anything that you have done on the daytime, memory should be lost. But if you can properly recollect gradually, not in a single day, day by day you practice the same thing. After at night, you try to recollect, after going to bed, you recollect the incidents which you had come across in your life at the daytime. Gradually you can maintain a good memory. Why I told you this? Because if you can properly remember the questions in the examination, comprehension question, you should require a good memory. A good memory is required. So you can recollect the questions while you are going through the passage. Then you can notice the particular area from where the questions are asked, and you can easily write the answers. So a good memory is very essential. And tone is very important. I told you what is the tone. Tone means the style. Style is also very important. Tone and style. Style is actually, we can say, the dress of thought. The style of somebody, the style of any movie actor, the style of a sports person like Virat Kohli or Dhoni. They have their own style. Style is the man. Style is the man. You know, Rajinikanth has his own style. Kamal Hassan has his own style. Here our actors have their own style. So style is there. So every writer has his or her own style. Suppose MD had written his own style. A person passed away. And our present reality, that is in the present day writers, they are writing, that is, you know, Shobhade or Arindhati Roy. These people have written their own style. So style, you understand the style and the tone of the other when you read some passages. Some passages are very narrative, not any fact-based passages. Narration, we can answer that narration very easily. Because narratives, that is entirely in the past tense. So we can remember each and every topic in a story or something. We can easily recollect it, what is the contents in it. But fact-based contents are difficult to recollect. Then on that occasion, the students or the job aspirant will face a little bit of difficulty while doing that kind of questions. So familiarity is very important. You familiarize the language. So better you must acquaintance with this English vocabulary, English newspaper. A little bit of time you spend with daily at least 1 hour, you spend for reading English newspaper or any other English material. Or you can also here to develop your pronunciation. Nowadays, that is in the social media. A lot of English pronunciation activities are in the YouTube. So you can hear how, suppose a word photograph, we are telling the wrong pronunciation. The pronunciation is photograph, and the photographer, and photography, and entrepreneur. Some people are telling entrepreneur. The pronunciation is absolutely wrong. Entrepreneur. So pronunciation has an important role. That from that we can understand the standard of the person. Some people's pronunciation we couldn't follow. We have the received pronunciation, RP. Not the pure British pronunciation or the American pronunciation. In America you think that American English has a phonetic language. Suppose color, C-O-L-O-R. Our language is C-O-L-O-U-R. In America, the phonetic language is there. Whatever they speak, they write in the same way. But in British English, in Indian English, the pronunciation and the spelling entirely different. Learn. In British English, we know L-E-A-R-N. But in American English, L-E-R-N. The difference is there. So American English, both the phonetic and spelling are same. In British English, Indian English, both are unphonetic. Pronunciation is one way, and the spelling is another way. We don't pronounce the entire verse. Whatever you word, environment, we are writing environment, V-I-R-O-N, R is silent. The end verse, listener. We are using listener, that is the regional pronunciation. A good listener, not listener. He is a good driver, not r. The last r sound is not using. The last r sound, speaker, how he became a public speaker. One of the essays written by G.B. Shah, the great orator. How he became a public speaker. Not speaker. Actor. Mammootty is an actor. Kamal Hassan is an actor, not actor. The last R sound is not using in English pronunciation. And there is not any double words in English. Here in Malayalam we have so many double words are there. Regional languages in Tamil, Kannada, everywhere. Kannada, Nna is there. And in Malayalam also we have seen a lot of words like Ikka, Inda, etc. Inga, etc. But in English there is not any double words. We are only using the normal pattern of there is there. Weathering harm or baking harm, not cooking harm, baking harm. These are the peculiarity, not double words in English. The final R sound is not pronounced in English. So your pronunciation should be maintained. Otherwise that will adversely affect your English speaking skill. So your listening skill is important. Your reading skill is important. Your writing skill is important. And 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Listening, speaking, reading and writing. These 4 skills must be remained. You always remain these 4 skills. So these are the major things that you have to understand while you are writing a comprehension. Proper attention should be there. And first of all, you have to go through the questions. After understanding the questions properly, then only you come back to the context. And some questions are very straightforward. Some answers are very hidden. You can seek the first question answer in the first paragraph itself, either in the beginning or in the end. Some answers connected with the year, that is easily find out, because the area in which the year had referred, you can find out the answer. And some questions you can come into a logical conclusion, that is called inference. So these are the major things that you have to care while you are writing the comprehension passage. Okay? Then we have to do some activities. The only method how we can develop our vocabulary and our comprehension skill, that is practice. So how much practice question you are going to work out, then you can achieve it, secure it, crack it. No doubt. So now let us discuss a few questions. First of all, some examples. After that we will do during the last few years questions. Firstly, we are discussing some general questions, simple questions. That is not too much or difficult. Anybody can do it. So let us discuss some questions. Okay?